Welcome back to Ledger and Crime. Today we're covering something different. Not a historical case, but an active, ongoing financial crime that is happening right now at a scale that should alarm everyone watching this. From an AML standpoint, this is the most sophisticated fraud operation I have ever analyzed. And it starts with a wrong number text. You get a message from a number you don't recognize. It's friendly. Maybe they say they texted the wrong person. Maybe they say they're a doctor or a successful investor, or someone who met you briefly at an event. You reply out of politeness. And then over days, weeks, sometimes months, they become someone you trust. Someone who seems to genuinely care about you. And then they tell you about an investment opportunity that has changed their life. This is pig butchering. And in 2025, it generated at least $23 billion in verified crypto fraud losses worldwide. That number comes directly from Chainalysis's most recent report. And researchers believe the real number is significantly higher because most victims never report it. The name comes from a Chinese phrase, sha zhu pan, which literally translates to killing the pig. The scammer spends weeks or months fattening the victim with false affection and manufactured trust before slaughtering their finances. It is psychological manipulation engineered with the precision of a financial product. Here is how the operation works at a structural level. Because what makes this different from ordinary scams is the industrial scale of the infrastructure behind it. These operations are run primarily out of scam compounds in Southeast Asia, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. These are not small back-alley operations. They are multi-building complexes with thousands of employees, organized in corporate hierarchies with HR departments, quotas, performance reviews, and management structures that mirror legitimate businesses. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime has documented compounds housing tens of thousands of people. And here is the darkest element of this story. Many of the people working in these compounds are not willing participants. They were recruited through fake job ads, promising customer service positions, data entry work, good salaries in Southeast Asia. When they arrived, they had their passports confiscated. They were told they had to generate a certain amount in fraud or face violence. Some were beaten. Some were sold between compounds when they failed to meet quotas. This is forced labor financing a global financial crime operation. Human trafficking and financial fraud operating as a single industrial enterprise. The scammer assigned to you has been trained in psychology and social engineering. They know exactly how to build trust over time. They follow scripts developed and refined across thousands of previous victims. The early conversations are never about money. They ask about your life, your family, your interests. They remember details you mentioned weeks ago and bring them up again. They create the feeling of a genuine human connection. And by the time they introduce the investment opportunity, you don't feel like you're talking to a stranger. You feel like you're talking to a friend who wants to help you. When the relationship is established, they introduce the investment platform, usually a fake cryptocurrency exchange that looks completely legitimate. Professional interface, real-looking charts, customer service chat support. You can even make small withdrawals initially to build confidence. The platform may show you significant returns in the first few weeks. Everything is designed to make you believe this is real and to encourage you to invest more. Then you invest more. Your balance grows on screen. You tell your family. Maybe they invest too. And when you try to withdraw your profits, suddenly there's a tax you need to pay first, or a verification fee, or a minimum balance requirement you weren't aware of. Each barrier is designed to extract additional money before the inevitable moment when you try to withdraw everything and the platform simply disappears along with every dollar you sent. One of the most alarming developments in pig butchering is the role artificial intelligence is now playing in scaling these operations. Scammers are using AI-generated profile photos to create entirely fictional personas, people who do not exist but look completely real. They are using voice cloning technology to make phone calls that sound like trusted contacts. And they are using large language models to conduct dozens of conversations simultaneously, meaning one operator can run multiple victims at once with near-perfect personalized responses. The technological sophistication of these operations is accelerating faster than law enforcement can respond. What began as a manually intensive fraud requiring significant human labor is becoming increasingly automated and scalable. From a financial crime perspective, the money laundering operation behind pig butchering is extraordinarily sophisticated. According to Chainalysis, the proceeds flow primarily through Chinese money laundering networks, what they call CMLNs, which have become one of the dominant forces in the illicit crypto ecosystem. These networks offer laundering as a service. The fraud proceeds move through a chain of crypto wallets, peer-to-peer exchanges, and over-the-counter brokers, ultimately ending up in jurisdictions where recovery is nearly impossible. By 2024, these networks were processing over 20% of all pig butchering scam proceeds. The speed at which money moves through these systems means that by the time a victim realizes they have been defrauded, the funds are already gone beyond any realistic recovery. The scale of victim harm is staggering. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, cryptocurrency scams including pig butchering accounted for $9.3 billion in victim losses in 2024, a 66% increase from the previous year. The victims are not naive or unsophisticated people. They are doctors, engineers, retired teachers, small business owners. The median age of victims is rising, with older adults increasingly targeted because they are more likely to have accumulated savings. And because crypto transactions are generally irreversible, recovery of stolen funds is extremely rare. The financial damage extends far beyond the direct losses. Many victims liquidate retirement accounts, take out home equity loans, or borrow from family members before realizing they have been defrauded. The psychological toll is equally devastating. Victims frequently report shame, depression, and destroyed relationships as consequences of these scams. Support organizations have documented cases where victims lost their life savings in a matter of weeks after years of building them. The FBI has noted that pig butchering victims are among the least likely of any fraud category to report what happened to them, meaning the $9.3 billion figure almost certainly understates the true scale of harm significantly. For compliance professionals and financial institutions, pig butchering presents a unique detection challenge. Unlike traditional fraud where transactions look clearly anomalous, victims are willingly initiating these transfers, often in amounts and patterns that look like normal investment activity. Banks and crypto exchanges are increasingly deploying behavioral analytics and transaction monitoring rules specifically designed to flag the signature patterns of pig butchering flows, repeated transfers to new crypto addresses, accelerating transfer amounts over short time periods, and customer profiles inconsistent with high-value crypto activity. Catching these transactions before the money leaves the financial system is one of the few intervention points that can actually protect victims in real time. Law enforcement is catching up, but slowly. In 2025, the DOJ and OFAC began targeting not just frontline scammers, but the executives, infrastructure, shell companies, and financial networks that sustain the operations. The Prince Group case, one of the highest-profile 2025 prosecutions, illustrated this new approach, pursuing the financial backbone of the operation, rather than individual perpetrators. U.S. authorities are also pursuing forfeiture of scam domain infrastructure used to build fake investment platforms. But the challenge is fundamental. These compounds operate in jurisdictions with limited law enforcement capacity. The operators maintain relationships with local power structures. When pressure increases in one location, they simply move operations to another. The UN has documented this pattern repeatedly across Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. Dismantling one compound does not stop the operation. It relocates it. What you need to know to protect yourself and the people around you. Unsolicited contact from a stranger that escalates into a relationship and then an investment opportunity is the signature of this scam. Any investment platform you are introduced to through a personal relationship rather than through a regulated financial institution should be treated with extreme skepticism. Legitimate investments do not require you to pay fees or taxes to access your own money. If someone you have never met in person is encouraging you to put significant savings into a cryptocurrency platform, that is a red flag regardless of how much you trust them. And if you are ever asked to pay money to withdraw money you have already invested, stop immediately and contact your bank. The people behind these operations have spent billions of dollars perfecting the psychological playbook. Understanding it is the first line of defense. Share this video with someone you care about, because awareness is the only protection that works before the money is gone. Subscribe to Ledger and Crime for new financial crime cases every week. Because the criminals never stop, and neither do we.